Hey, this is Argonoid, and you're looking at Space Giraffe, which in my opinion is one of the most underappreciated games ever made. This game was originally released in 2007 on the Xbox 360 and was later released on Steam. The developer is Llamasoft, which originally was just one guy, Jeff Minter, who's been making games since the early 1980s with names like Attack of the Mutant Camels and Llamatron. Llamasoft is now, and was at this point, 2 people. At this point also, Jeff Minter was best known as the developer of Tempest 2000 on the Atari Jaguar, which was a remake of the original Tempest arcade machine. And Space Giraffe is in some ways a Tempest game, but also if you play it like a Tempest game, then you're kind of missing out on the kind of depths of the game. This is a game that was not necessarily very commercially successful at the time, or since, to be honest, as far as I know, which is a great shame because it is a fantastic game, but some people did find it very hard to get into, even myself to begin with. The game deliberately plays with the idea of kind of obscuring what you're seeing and relying on sound cues to play and to understand what's going on. But it was too steep a learning curve for some people. So what I'm going to do today is I'm at least going to attempt to play through the whole game in one go. There is an achievement for that, which is the only achievement I don't have on this game. I don't expect to actually succeed because it's too hard, but let's see how it goes. And when I do eventually die, I'll just... the game allows you to resume from a level that you've reached, so I can still play through the whole game even if I don't do it in one session. So let's get started. There is a tutorial, which I'm not going to play through now, but if you do play the game, it's highly recommended. So let's get started. I'm not going to be perhaps commentating that much. I'm not under any kind of illusion that I have a great voice for YouTube. I'm more doing this out of my kind of love for the game, and I'll need to explain certain things because it might not be immediately apparent what's going on sometimes. And this first level, the Eyes of Allard, is named after Jay Allard, who was one of the kind of pioneers, or one of the guys behind the original Xbox console. And this game was, as I said, released on the Xbox 360 as a Xbox Live Arcade game. And Jeff Minter also did the original music visualizer for the Xbox 360, although I believe they later changed it to something else. And in fact, this game shares a lot of the same underlying code in terms of the kind of psychedelic effects of that music visualizer. So here I am, I'm shooting these enemies. I can see when the enemies are going to appear, you see these lines in the background. And you notice there's a line coming towards me sometimes, and sometimes going away when I shoot the enemies. That's called the power zone, and that is very important. Now if the power zone goes away, I can't collide with the enemies while they're dying. But if the power zone is there, like it is at the moment, I can ram into the enemies, and that's called bullying. And that's a very important mechanic in this game. That's what allows you to raise your multiplier, and you can see that in the top left, multiplier 2. That goes up to 9. The other display in the top right... Did I say top left? I meant top right. The other display in the top right is the lives, so I have 3 lives at the moment. So what I want to try and do in every level is max out my multiplier, because not only does that give you a lot more points, it also gives you an extra life, which is one of the 2 ways of getting an extra life. Now you see there are many enemies on this level. I'm letting them build up. I think you need to ram 3 or more at once to raise your multiplier, which I totally failed to do. I got up to 4. I didn't get 9. I'm not sure if it's possible on all the early levels to get 9. And you can see it rates me. It says you are meh. It kind of tells you how good you are based on your score. Now, unlike Tempest, you can actually aim using the right stick. So I think when you hear the move sound, that means the multiplier has gone up. But I've got to be careful of the bullets on this level. The power zone does not protect you from the bullets. It's multiplier 9. If I get one more, I believe I get a extra life. Now, one thing about the bullets, they get one up. You can shoot the bullets, and they'll go off into the distance, and you can see them there. Then they come back, which is obviously dangerous. But you do get a score bonus at the end of the level for the bullets that are still kind of floating off in the distance at the end of the level. You are super good. They added for the PC version this meter at the bottom of the screen just for the first few levels to try and help explain the power zone, because some people didn't get that. I didn't quite understand what the power zone actually was and what it means, that you can do the push or bull attack. Then the meter goes away after a few levels. So I'm trying to build up my multiplier. But you have to make sure the power zone stays active, because otherwise you're in trouble. It also means if the power zone is not active, you can't do the sideways shooting bullets, you can't do the aiming with the right stick. So that's the 1-up. You can also get a 1-up by getting a certain number of power-ups. So maybe I should focus on that now, try and shoot more enemies to get more power-ups. That didn't work out there. So one thing worth noting is when you pick up a power-up, it completely restores the power zone. I'm trying to be careful here not to run into the bullets, so I'm being a bit more cautious in my bulling. There are some levels where if you stop, like if you sit still for a while, or even a short period of time, it really raises the speed the power zone kind of goes away. You can see this thing coming towards me. At the end of the level, it just kind of fades away because you're not shooting things anymore. Now you notice on this level, bullets go a lot faster. So this is a common theme in Lamasoft games, the idea of kind of changing up rules throughout the levels. You have to kind of learn the levels and see, okay, so on this level bullets move fast, on this level the power zone, you know, is harder to keep active. Some levels the enemies come to the edge of the rim, the level very quickly. This also shows off this level another thing I like about this game, which is the way that the kind of shape of the web, like the level, in Tempest and in Tempest 2000, they're very, very fixed shapes. But you notice here the levels are a different shape at each end. It's like a C shape here and then a kind of straight line at the end. It's just another way that the game kind of messes with your head. One thing I've not mentioned yet is the pods. So these power-ups, it says pod get when I collect it. And the pods are the things that are kind of trailing off my, for want of a better word, giraffe, the ship, the thing, the player thing. The pods allow you to jump. So you can jump, which is particularly important on later levels. But at the moment, I don't really have a need to. You may have noticed it's kind of sometimes hard to see what's going on, especially on this level where you have the geometry kind of deliberately obscuring what's happening sometimes. And that means I'm going to be more cautious in how I move. I can hear the sound effects of bullets being fired. So if I hear that, then I've got to be aware that I might not be able to see exactly where it is. Shit. Bye guys. I just died. So I lost a life. I'm down to 7 lives. I'm still doing okay. You are nearly good. I do wonder what the YouTube compression is going to do to this. So the thing I just picked up was an Knox token. I also got one on the previous level, and that activates the bonus level. I think there are 2 bonus levels. Or is it just one? Because there are 2 different bonus levels in Tempest 2000. I don't remember if there's... I think maybe it's just this one in this one. I've not played this for a few years. So the goal of this bonus level is to pick up the flower things with your hooves, which are the kind of things sticking out to the sides of my thing. I'm not particularly a fan of the bonus levels. I think the idea was to kind of give you a break from the more intense gameplay, which is fine. But I could live without it. So I'm thinking of doing a tier list, a ranking of all the different Llamasoft games on my channel at some point. I recently played through Polybius, which is their 2017 game based on the urban legend of the same name. Now this level here, this picture wasn't in the original, this background image wasn't in the original Xbox 360 version, I don't think. This is a furry reference. The guys who made this game, I don't think they've said that they are furries, but they're definitely at least furry adjacent. This level also introduces the flowers. So these green things, they grow from the opposite edge of the level, and you have to kind of push them back. And there are certain advantages to keeping them alive. In fact, I think there's even an achievement for that sometimes. Shooting the flowers increases the power zone, so you can kind of use them as a resource to keep that active on levels where that's harder. But you have to be careful of them as well, because if they get too long, the head of the flower will pop off and act as a bullet that can't be shot. Didn't see that bullet. So when you pick up the power-up as you're leaving the level, which gives you the yes, yes, yes voice, I think what that means is the first power-up you pick up in the second level will be fast bullets. Or maybe it just means you start with fast bullets. No, that's not fast bullets. So I think it means... I'm not sure. I think that is fast bullets. Yes, I think it just means you start with that, which is good. Okay, so I touched an enemy when the power zone was not there. I tried to save myself by pressing the... if you press A, it's what's called the Sheepy Zapper, which is basically a smart bomb, which you can use once per level. Which I did press, but I think maybe... either I didn't press it fast enough, or I was hit by a bullet during my travels down the web. It basically pulls you down the web. So the sneeze sounds are the... that's when the bullets that you've shot kind of give you bonus points at the end of the level. I am sometimes inclined to deliberately fail at these bonus levels, because the better you do, the longer they go on. And it's a bit... it's not the most engaging experience. Because as you miss the flowers, fewer flowers appear. So the game is divided into groups of... okay, you see these flowers. They grow very quickly, and they're practically impossible to actually stop. So you have to adapt accordingly. You may notice a white line that comes up the flower, and when that white line reaches the end, the head pops off, which you don't want to be in the way of. What you can also potentially do is shoot the flower just as it appears. So these green lines that appear in the distance, they show where the flowers are going to appear. So I was just going to say that the game is divided into kind of units of 16 levels. So each group of levels, I believe, introduces a new type of enemy. And at the end of that 16 level set, you'll have one that's a bit harder. So of it get harder, and then you'll have a slight break while things get easier, but they introduce a new enemy.
I have 9 lives right now, which is the max, so I can't get any more than that. So I don't really need to prioritise getting lives, but I can try to prioritise score, which is pretty much the same thing. I still don't know what some of these things on the score screen means, like early giraffe bonus. Okay, these flowers, I think, are unkillable, pretty much. You see, shooting them has no effect. When you hear the kind of ping noise, that's the flower head being detached. Kind of chime noise, I suppose. And the
power zone is pretty much gone, but I can use a pod. I can jump to bring it back. It kind of fully restores it. So that is a spawner. You may recognise the sound effect from Monty Python and the Quest for the Holy Grail. So it spawns enemies at the location of the power zone, the edge of the power zone. Achievement. I don't remember what it's for. Used a pod to restore the power zone. So the version of the game I'm playing is what's called the acid mix mode, which is the same as the version that was originally on the Xbox 360. When you start the game on PC, you have a choice of two options, which are called Knox mode, NUXX, and acid mix. So the Knox mode is a kind of accommodation of people who found the kind of the effects and the intensity of the original game a bit much. So it's essentially a whole new set of 100 levels with kind of toned down effects. But here I'm playing the original version. Maybe I'll play through Knox mode at some point, which I've not really done before, but not today. Now, if you're looking at this bonus level and thinking it's getting harder and harder to see what's going on here, the answer is yes. That is the idea of the game. It's kind of a testament to the human brain, especially when you'll see some of the later levels in the main game, that the human brain can still play it and still comprehend what's going on, even when it's kind of deliberately messing with you. That's also true of many of their other games, especially Polybius, which I played recently on my channel. Kind of overwhelming you with stuff going on, but you can still finish the game regardless. Just giving you enough to kind of help you understand what's going on. So we're a fifth of the way through the game. There are 100 levels. The little sound of a kind of small dog kind of yipping is, I think it's when you shoot a bullet that's come back, you've shot it into the distance and it's come back into the level. Which I think is distinct from the sound you get when you shoot a bullet before it's, like when it's just been shot. Okay. So I said that each 16 levels introduces a new enemy, but I seem to have been wrong because, wrong in this case, because there's a new enemy on this level, and it's one of the most dangerous ones in the game. These sphere things, what are they called? Boffins. They're called boffins, and they can be extremely dangerous and also not very intuitive sometimes. They are a bit like the flowers in the original Tempest and in Tempest 2000, but much worse. So in Tempest and Tempest 2000, the flowers are enemies that could only be shot when they're moving between lanes. They kind of float between lanes, or at least they sometimes do. The boffins, if you shoot them when they're moving from lane to lane, then they just die. But if you shoot them when they're within the lane, or is it on the edge of a lane, or I don't remember if they're within the actual, I think they're actually on the edge of a lane, they start by getting pushed back slightly, and if they're right on the far end, they'll get pushed off the edge and die. See these white things? Those are the boffins spawning. And see when I shoot them, they get pushed back. But, see this one? I'll use my zapper there, because if you shoot it enough times... I just got shot. If you shoot it enough times, they'll stop getting pushed back and actually start moving forward, or accelerate towards you. So that's one of the dangerous things about them. And at that point, the only way to kill them is to, well, there's maybe 3 ways. So you can jump over them and shoot them when they're on the rim, like the near edge. So I shot that one when it was moving, trying to legs. You can use the zapper on them, but you only get 1 per level, or at least 1 per life. There is another way, but it's not necessarily very reliable or even easy to understand how to actually do it, which is called extending a hoof. I think that's if you touch it with one of your hooves rather than the main body of your player, perhaps, but I'm not quite sure exactly how that works. You'll also notice it says danger when they reach the rim because, as you would expect, they are dangerous. You can't bull them, they just kill you. Later on there are boffins that shoot at you, and they are even more dangerous because they shoot diagonally. And also the bullets can travel along the rim that you're on, which makes them, you can only avoid them by jumping. Another day at the orifice. In fact, hang on. Are these the ones that shoot? The spiky ones. I think the spiky ones are the ones that shoot. I'm looking out for the white lines in the distance that show when they're coming or where they're coming, right there. Although, yeah, that just shot. It was quite subtle, it was quite hard to notice. But I knew what was coming. I've played this enough that I know that these things are not to be underestimated. In fact, that bullet, there was a bullet going round diagonally, and there are some aspects of this I don't even fully understand yet. Sometimes you need to watch footage back to try and understand what happened. I think if you shoot their bullets, they'll go away like a normal bullet. When they come back, do they come back diagonally, like they're still moving diagonally? They are the probably number one cause of getting killed by something and you didn't understand what happened. I mean, it's pretty normal to get hit by a bullet and not have seen it in advance, but these bullets are especially hard to see. saw 3 of them coming there and I shot them before they really had a chance to do anything. So I shot them off the edge. So by the way, these pods that are following me, you see the glowing things on kind of strings. So most of those are jump pods. They're the ones you pick up. But one of them is your smart bomb, your sheepy zapper. So it's a way of kind of showing you what you have, although it's not necessarily the clearest. But it's nice the game doesn't kind of clutter itself too much with on-screen user interface. See there, I just killed it by touching it with my hoof. So I was shooting to the right. I'm not sure if that's what did it. So I was going to jump and deal with it, but it wasn't necessary. I saw it like literally before I hit it. I'm feeling like maybe I should be letting some of these bullets pass me by because they really can't kill me. Okay, I'm going to stop the video for that for now. So I want this to be like a single video that's 3 hours long. So watch out for part 2 coming soon, and see you next time.